You know, with someone who switched over recently from Adobe Premiere to DaVinci Resolve, one of the first things I tried to figure out how to do was add adjustment layers, or in this case, in Resolve, they are called adjustment clips, to the project that I'm working on. I use adjustment layers for all kinds of stuff. And if you're not familiar, an adjustment clip or an adjustment layer is basically a transparent sheet that you can place over your video clips in the timeline. Think of it as a blank canvas that lets you apply effects, color grading, or changes to multiple clips underneath it all at once without touching or manipulating the original footage. These clips allow you to edit more efficiently, create global changes to various clips. They're non-destructive, and it gives you creative flexibility because you can stack multiple adjustment layers on top of each other for things like color grading and vignettes, stuff like that. And the most beneficial thing for me, in my opinion, is if you're editing a sequence or several scenes at once and you want them all to have a slightly warmer tone, for instance, you can add the adjustment layer on top, apply the warm color tone at once, and it affects all the scenes below it. And in contrast, if you're not using an adjustment layer, you'd need to color grade each scene individually, and then you might have trouble getting everything to match more closely. So let's take a look at how to add an adjustment layer over top of our video footage here. We have our video clip on the timeline, and then later on I'll show you guys some things that you can do with the adjustment layers and how to do them here in DaVinci Resolve. So the first thing you're going to need to do to bring up an adjustment layer is head over here to the Effects folder window. You're going to go make sure you have Toolbox highlighted here and just search in the search window here for adjustment clip. And here we have it. We're just going to grab this and drag it over to our timeline on top of our video clip here. And of course, if you're wanting to affect the entire length of the video clip here, it's going to drag it to the length of our entire clip. And that's pretty much it. That's how you add an adjustment clip or an adjustment layer to your project in DaVinci Resolve. And like I said, if you want to add multiple adjustment clips for stacking different effects, you can do that as well just by Alt-clicking and dragging that to create another one. I would recommend favoriting the adjustment clip by clicking the little star right here so it shows up in your favorites down here at the bottom of the effects folder window at all times, and it's just easier for you to find it. You won't have to type or search for it next time you're creating a project. Now, as far as what you can do with adjustment clips, the main thing I use them for is color correction or color grading. But you can basically drag and drop any effects from the effects folder over here to your adjustment layer, and it will affect any video clip that is below it on the timeline. So just to give you an example, let's take the camera shake effect from the effects folder over here, drop it on the adjustment layer, play our clip back, and there we have it. Camera shake. And if we cut that adjustment layer off, the effect is done. And any effect that you are trying to manipulate or you have selected is going to show up here in the top right of the screen in the inspector window. And here you can click on the effects tab and you can adjust all of the various aspects of the effect that you have selected. And if you want to get rid of it, you just hit the trash can button here to delete it. Now, what I mostly use adjustment layers for is color correction and color grading. And DaVinci Resolve has all of these different workspaces that you can access here at the bottom of the screen. I try to do as much as possible in the edit window just because that's what feels the most comfortable to me. But at times you will have to venture into some of these other workspaces to get specific things done. So if you would like to use your adjustment layer to affect colors for multiple clips, and just to make things easier to understand here, we'll split this clip into two different sections and adjust the size here of this one. So it appears that we have two different video clips. So to use adjustment layers for color correction and color grading, just select your adjustment layer, then go over here to the color workspace. Now we're in the color workspace. Make sure here in this clip selection area that you have the adjustment clip selected. It will be highlighted in red. And then we can just come up here and go through our various looks. Let's pick something really striking so we can tell what we're doing here. Let's pick this one from my horror LUT pack, Terror. Apply LUT to current node. And then when we go back to the edit window, we can now see that both of our clips have been affected by the adjustment layer. since they are below the adjustment layer on the timeline. And if we disable the video layer with the adjustment clip on the timeline, you can see that the effect has now went bye-bye. Hey, and that's pretty much it. You now know how to add and use adjustment clips in DaVinci Resolve. If you guys have any further questions about any of this, please feel free to leave me questions in the comment section below, and I'll try to address them the best I can. Hope you guys found this video beneficial, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you're looking for extra content like behind the scenes when I'm on set, live Q&As, and more, please consider becoming an intern by clicking the join button on the channel header. It helps keep the channel going and creating content just like this. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this filmmaking journey with me. I am Ryan, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.